Okay. So based on the photoelectric effects, one example, of course, it is not directly related to photoelectric effect. Actually, it depends on the intensity of the radiation. Suppose when the light radiation having intensity capital I instant on the perfectly reflecting surface, what is the force exerted by the radiation on the mirror that's perfectly reflecting surface or mirror? Mirror means it is a good reflector. So when the radiation or light radiation having intensity I instant directly normally on the good reflector or perfectly reflecting surface or mirror, then what is the force exerted by the radiation on the mirror?
2IA by C.
2IA by C. Very good, Baladitya. Very good. So based on that concept here, one problem is there. Previously it was asked. Suppose this is here, this is a rigid wall. Here it is the rigid wall. It is the rigid wall. Okay, here one mirror or perfectly reflecting surface. Here one mirror or perfectly reflecting surface is kept parallel to the wall, and here this perfectly reflecting surface is connected to the wall by means of three identical springs. Three identical springs. Like this. As these three springs are identical, spring constant of each spring remains same, that is a K. It is the perfectly good reflector. This mirror or this plate is the perfectly good reflector or perfectly reflector. That means it is a mirror. Okay, now whenever the mirror is at this position, the three springs are in untouched condition. That means there is no compression or there is no extension of the three springs whenever the mirror is at this position. Okay, that means all the springs are at its natural length. Now, the radiation is made to instant on the surface of the reflector. The radiation is made to instant on this reflector. Having intense here, this is the radiation instant on the surface of the reflector or mirror like this. With intensity capital I. That means the radiation instant on this mirror with intensity capital I. Suppose the area on the surface of the mirror on which this radiation instant, that is capital A. This need not be area of the mirror. This is the area of the region on which radiation instant on the mirror. Suppose sometimes the area of the mirror may be more, and the area of the region on which radiation instant is another one. So here in that formula, we have to know what is the area of the region on which radiation instant. That area only we have to consider. So this is the area of the region on which the radiation instant. So area of region on which radiation instant. Radiation instant. Of course, if the total reflecting surface is irradiated with the radiation or illuminated with the radiation, then total area of the plate is the area of the region on which radiation is instant. Okay. Now, force exerted by this radiation on the mirror, that is say F. Force exerted by the radiation on the mirror, FR say. Force exerted by the radiation on the mirror, FR. That FR is what? Tell me.
2IA by C.
What?
2IA by C.
2IA by C. Suppose if it is good absorber, then
IA by C.
IA by C, sir.
Okay, therefore, because of this radiation force exerted by the radiation on the mirror or reflecting surface, definitely this reflecting surface displaces in this direction. No? Reflecting surfaces displace in this direction so that the springs will be compressed. Here, are the springs are in series or parallel, or they are neither series nor parallel?
They are parallel, sir.
Yeah, parallel. Because whenever this reflecting surface is displaces through certain distance, say x, then each and every spring is having same compression. No? Whenever all the springs are having same compression or same extension, they are said to be in parallel. That's why here all springs are in parallel. That's why effective spring constant is 3K.
3K, sir. 3K.
for all these three springs, the effective spring constant is equal to 3K. We can write. So we can imagine single spring having spring constant 3K. Now, because of this radiation, force exerted by the radiation on the mirror, some work is done on this reflecting surface. Due to that, suppose the maximum compression the spring is, suppose the reflecting surface displaces through certain distance, say x. Maximum displacement of the mirror is say x. Then maximum compression the spring is also equal to x only. Okay. So whenever the mirror displaces from this position to this position, so that maximum compression takes place in the springs. Further, after that, there is no further compression. So this is the maximum compression. So with this constant force Fr, because there is no change in the force exerted by the radiation on the mirror, it is very small distance. That's why there is no change in the force exerted by the radiation on the mirror. With this force, as it is displaced with a distance x max, what is the work done by the radiation force on the mirror? Work done by the radiation force on the mirror is radiation force into displacement of the mirror, x max. Okay, here this work done on the mirror by the radiation is stored in the springs, in three springs, as the potential energy. That's why this is equal to potential energy stored means half K effective into x maximum square. Or energy stored in each spring is half kx square into 3, because 3 springs are there. So that like that also we can write. Now Fr means, of course, here x max square cancel. Then Fr means, as it is a good reflector, that is equal to 2IA by C. C is the speed of light, I is the intensity of the radiation instant on the mirror. So because of the small displacement of the mirror, there is no considerable change in the intensity of the radiation instant on the mirror. Okay. So this is equal to half into K effective. Half into K effective means 3K into x max. Because one x max is cancelled. Therefore, maximum compression in the spring. Maximum compression in all springs. In all springs. Comma. X max is equal to what? 4IA by 3KC. This is the maximum compression of the springs, all springs. Sometimes they may ask what is the equilibrium compression of the springs. For equilibrium compression,
Sir, half kx square line, sir.
half, this is the
W
formula
equal.
stored in the spring, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So for equilibrium compression, tell me how we can find the equilibrium compression. For equilibrium compression, suppose equilibrium compression is say x. Equilibrium compression x is say. Whenever the equilibrium compression means net force acts on the body must be zero. Next, net force acts on the mirror, this reflecting surface must be zero. No? Suppose whenever because of radiation force, whenever the mirror displaces through certain distance, so that the spring, all springs compressed by the same amount, say xe. In such case, the force acts on the mirror and force exerted by the springs on the mirror both are in opposite direction. In such case, you see, suppose this is the mirror or reflecting surface. This is the reflecting surface. On reflecting surface, what are the forces acts? Tell me. Towards right, radiation acts. Where because of this radiation force, whenever the reflecting surface is displaced through certain distance, equilibrium distance xe, at that time, all the three springs exert the spring force on the reflecting surface towards left. Okay, what is that spring force? Suppose if the mirror displaces through a distance xe, then
effective into x.
Here, as the spring is compressed by distance xe, kxe force exerted by the spring on this mirror. Similarly, here. Therefore, 3 into kxe is the force exerted by all the three springs on the mirror in this direction, and force by radiation in this direction. Whenever these two are equal, then net force acts on the mirror along horizontal direction becomes zero. No? So then the mirror is said to be under equilibrium. So under equilibrium, spring force must be equal to radiation force. Force due to radiation acts on the mirror. Spring force is equal to 3 into kxe, that is equal to radiation force means 2, because it is a good reflector, no, that's why radiation force is equal to 2ia by c, no, 2ia by c. So here we need xe, no, therefore xe is equal to 2ia by 3kc. This is the equilibrium extension, equilibrium compression, no? Equilibrium compression. So this is the equilibrium compression in all the 3 springs. No doubt. It is the equilibrium compression on the 3 springs. Okay, here from the source a man is standing at a distance 4 meter. The diameter of the pupil of eye, that is D. Okay, now here the power of the source is 60 watt and wavelength of the radiation emitted by the source is equal to 600 nanometer. Of course, that is equal to 600 into 10⁻⁹ meter. Diameter of the eye is given. Diameter of eye means pupil, that is equal to 2 mm, through which light radiation passes, that is the pupil. SC value given. In t is equal to 0.1 second, number of photons transmitted passing through or instant on that eye, that is what. Okay, here from the source at a distance r, as the eye is there, eye of the man is there, at this eye, with what intensity the radiation coming from the source instant or false, that we have to find first. As the source emits the radiation in all directions, now by taking this distance of the eye from the center as the radius, you imagine the sphere with the source at the center. Then at any time, at that time, from the source the radiation emits passing through the total surface of the sphere of radius 4 meter. So the area through which the radiation emitted by the source transmits means that is equal to 4 pi r square. Okay, therefore I is equal to, therefore intensity at the eye is equal to intensity of the radiation at the eye, intensity at the eye, comma, I is equal to P by 4 pi r square. P means 60 watt, you substitute in SI stone, by 4 into 22 by 7 into radius square means 4 square, no? 4 square. When you simplify them, then you will get, so when you simplify them, you will get, okay, it is kept like this only. So this is equal to 4 15s are, okay, or you keep like this only, don't cancel. Finally, we will write the answer. So here this is equal to 60. Here also you keep like, okay, 60 into 7 by 88 into 16. That much watt per meter square. This is the intensity of the radiation instant at the eye. Okay, now the energy entering to the eye per second is what? Energy entering to the eye per second means power only, no? Energy entering to the eye per second means power only. Okay, therefore power at eye is equal to power of the source, because power does not change with the distance. So power P is equal to intensity of the radiation at the eye is eye is capital I, no? So if you know the intensity, then what is the formula for power in terms of intensity? Intensity
into
I is
area.
power by area.
Power is equal to I into
Power
area.
by area of people. People means I. Because with this intensity I, when the radiation instant on this one, then what is the power of the radiation through passing through this I? Power of the radiation passing through that I is say P. That P is same as the power of the source only. Okay, power by area of the people through I. Area of the people through which radiation transmitted, that is equal to this one. Therefore, from this we can find intensity we got. Okay, at the eye intensity we got. So power is equal to, so from this formula, Energy transmitted we had to find. Power is constant, no? Energy transmitted we had to find. So here I is equal to
Sir, intensity also will be same at every point, no, sir?
intensity on the I is same. Intensity on the I is same. Energy we had to find first. What is the relation between energy and power? Sorry, power is equal to power P is equal to intensity of the radiation at the I into area of the people. We can write now area of the people means pi r square. What is the radius of the I? Here from this front side, when you see here, the I people is like this. The aperture or diameter is this one. Then radius is d by 2, no? So pi into d by 2 whole square is the area of the people or area of the eye on which light radiation incident or through which light radiation transmits. So this one. So here power means energy transmitted per second, no? Suppose the E naught is the energy of each photon. Suppose n photons instant on the eye. Then total energy instant on the eye in a time t seconds is say n E naught by t. Then energy transmitted per second is the power. So power can be written like this. That is equal to I into pi d by 2 whole square. Of course, d square by 4 we can write directly. D square by 4. Therefore, here n is equal to number of photons transmitted through the eye in 0.1 second is equal to I into pi d square by 4 into t by E naught. So therefore, n is equal to I already we know, I we calculated here. Power is given. Of course, here power term is not there. Now I by what about energy? I is there, d is known, time is also given 0.1 second. So pi d square by 4 into t into 1 by what about E naught? E naught is not given directly. Lambda is given now. That's why HC by lambda we can write now. HC by lambda. This is the number of photons transmitted, number of photons enter into the eye or passing through the eye in a time t 0.1 second. Now you substitute the data. So therefore, number of photons passing through the eye in a time 0.1 second is equal to, you substitute the data. I means this one we can substitute 60 into 7 by 88 into 60, that is I. Pi means 22 by 7.
When considered for the eye, intensity will change, no, sir? Area
Yeah.
changes, no, sir?
Enamma?
When consider for eye, intensity changes, no, sir? Area of the eye changes, no, sir?
ఏరియా చేంజ్ అవుతోంది, ఇంటెన్సిటీ మాత్రమే ఈ ఐ మీద ఎక్కడైనా సరే ఇంటెన్సిటీ అంతే ఉంటుంది కదా దీని వల్ల, ఈ సోర్స్ వల్ల.
Okay, sir.
డిస్టెన్స్ మాట్లేదు కదా ఇక్కడ నుంచి ఇక్కడ వరకు.
Surface of the eye consider చేస్తున్నాము, sir.
ఏనమ్మా?
Surface of the eye
సర్ఫేస్ ఆఫ్ ది ఐ కన్సిడర్ చేస్తున్నాం. ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఆల్ కంపేర్డ్ విత్ డిస్టెన్స్ ద size of the eye is very small. That's why almost all each and every point from the eye, each and every point on the eye is equidistant from the source. That's why intensity of the incident radiation at any point on the eye remains same.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Understood, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now here I have substituted I value. I have substituted pi is 22 by 7. Okay. Next d square by 4. What is d value? D
10. Oh, sir,
Diameter.
2, sir. 2, sir.
Diameter
2, sir. 2 millimeters.
2 mm. So diameter is 2 into 10 to the minus 3. Okay. Diameter square means square by 4 into t 0.1 second into lambda. Lambda is the wavelength. Of course, here I will write 600 into 10 to the minus 9 into lambda by HC. HC value is 1240 given, 1240. Electron volt nanometer. Of course, we better to substitute like this only. Okay, anyhow. Electron volt means how many joules? Charge of the electron, that much joules. Okay, into nanometer. 1 nanometer means 10 to the minus 9 meter. That's all. Now, minus 9 cancel. Okay, here 22 4s are 7 cancel. Okay, next. Okay, you simplify them. If you are having calculator, you simplify them and tell me what is the answer you will get. I think you will get number of photons entering the eye in 0.1 second is equal to 2.84 into 10 power of 11, I think you may get 2.84 into 10 power of 11, you see. Of course, this decimal place may be changed, but you will get this value, I think, you see. Note down. Shall I erase?
Yes, sir.
Shall I rub the total board?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Next. Photoelectric cells. Based on the photoelectric effect phenomena, photoelectric cells are designed. Photoelectric cell means the device by means of which converts the light energy into electrical energy is called photoelectric cell. So this is the application of the photoelectric effect. So photoelectric cell.
Yes, sir.
Minima.
Solar plates.
Huh?
Solar plates, sir.
Third, solar cell. Okay, solar cell we can take. So photoelectric cell. Photoelectric cell. Here, the device which converts the light energy into electrical energy is called photoelectric cell. Device which converts light energy into electrical energy. Light energy into electrical energy is called photoelectric cell. Photoelectric cell. So what is the principle of working photoelectric cell means? Device which converts the light energy into electrical energy, which is called photoelectric cell. So there are different types of photoelectric cells are there, in which first one is photoemissive cell. Photoemissive cell. Photoemissive cell. In this photoemissive cell, there is a glass bulb. It is in the form of a cylindrical shape. Suppose this is the glass bulb. It is the glass bulb in the form of cylindrical shape. Here in this glass bulb, it is highly evacuated, and here one metal plate which is photosensitive material. One metal plate is kept here. This is one metal plate which is the photosensitive material. It is coated with photosensitive material like alkali metal, sodium, potassium, lithium, etc. Photosensitive material or photosensitive plates. This is one photosensitive plate. Here this plate is connected to one conducting wire like this. Conducting wire like this. In front of this photosensitive plate, here another plate or ring made of copper is kept. Here another plate or ring is kept in front of this photosensitive plate like this. Here this is also connected to one more conducting wire like one more conducting wire like this. One more conducting wire like this. Okay, now here as this cylindrical tube is made of glass, definitely light radiation enter into the cylindrical tube. Okay, it is the evacuated chamber made of glass. Okay, that's why as this glass is having transparent surfaces, definitely light radiation enter into the space and instant on the photosensitive material. In such a way, the light rays are made In such a way, light rays are arranged. Okay, now this plate is connected to a cell. This plate is connected to a cell whose negative terminal is connected to this plate, photosensitive plate, and the positive terminal is connected to this one with milliammeter, like this. Okay, initially, as no circuit is closed, because whenever the circuit is closed, like of course we can take the resistance also here. We can take any resistance also here. Resistance R. Okay. Initially, as this plate and this plate both are not connected, it is the copper plate or ring. Copper plate or ring. It is highly polished. Okay. Here initially, whenever the battery is connected like this, as there is no connection between electrical contact between this plate and this plate, no circuit is closed. That's why no current passing through them. Suppose if you connect by means of a wire, conducting wire, if you connect these two directly, then definitely current will pass through the circuit. But there is no such connection between these two plates directly. Okay, now the radiation is here, it is highly evacuated. That means in between these two plates, no gas or no gaseous atoms exist. Completely vacuum here. Between the space between the two plates is completely vacuum. Okay, now the radiation with certain intensity or with certain frequency. Certain frequency means the frequency of the incident radiation is greater than the threshold frequency of this photosensitive material. Threshold frequency కంటే ఎక్కువ frequency తో light radiation ఈ metal plate మీద instant గా arrange చేశారు. So frequency of incident radiation is greater than threshold frequency. Then is photoelectric emission is possible or not? Whenever the frequency of incident radiation is greater than the threshold frequency,
Possible.
is photoelectric emission is possible or not?
Possible, sir. Possible, sir.
Okay, that's why here this ejects the photoelectrons. This ejects the photoelectrons like this. Here as this plate is connected to negative terminal and this plate is connected to positive terminal. That's why it is having negative potential. This is having positive potential. And moreover, as the electrons are liberated by this metal plate, and moreover it is given negative potential. These electrons are repelled by this plate, and as it is given positive potential, it attracts the photoelectrons liberated here. That's why this plate repels and this plate attracts. That's why the electrons will move from negative plate to positive plate, so that circuit will be closed. Because of motion of the photoelectrons from negative plate to positive plate, as the circuit is closed, then current will pass through this circuit. In which direction current passes in this circuit? ఇక్కడ circuit
Copper
closed.
plate to photosensitive plate.
Flow of electrons ఇక్కడ నుంచి ఇక్కడికి ఉందంటే circuit closed.
Photosensitive plate, sir.
Clockwise or anti-clockwise?
Anti-clockwise, sir.
Anti-clockwise.
Anti-clock. Because if the electrons move in this direction, definitely current will flow in opposite direction. No? Like
Opposite
this.
direction, sir.
That's
Yes,
why
sir.
electric current flow like this. Electric current flow in this direction. So in milliammeter we can see the electric current. What is the electric current passing through them? That is in milliamperes, of course. Okay, now in this way, whenever the radiation instant on the photosensitive metal inside the photoemissive cell, because of ejection of the photoelectrons due to photoelectric effect, current passing through this circuit. In this way, the light energy instant on the plate is converted into electrical energy, and due to that electric current passing through the circuit. Okay, in this way, this photoemissive cell converts the light energy into electrical energy. So this is the one example for photoemissive cell. No doubt. One minute. ఓకే, నోట్ చేశారండి. నెక్స్ట్ ఫోటో కండక్టివ్ సెల్. నెక్స్ట్ వన్ ఫోటో కండక్టివ్ సెల్. బి ఫోటో కండక్టివ్ సెల్. So before that, here in case of photoemissive shell, when it is evacuated completely, in such case, whatever the number of photons incident on them, same number of photoelectrons are liberated, so same number of photoelectrons reach the collector. Okay, if more number of photons incident, more photoelectric current passes. If intensity of incident radiation increases, number of photons incident on the photometal increase. Due to that, photoelectrons ejected increase and current increase. That's why in vacuum here photoemissive cell is evacuated. In such case, the photoelectric current passing through the circuit I, small I, is directly proportional to intensity of the incident radiation. Intensity of the incident radiation. In case of evacuated bulb, intensity of the radiation is directly proportional to strength of the photoelectric current passing through the circuit. Okay. In case of gaseous bulb, means whenever some gas is there inside the bulb, in such case, whenever the photons incident on the photometal because of with certain intensity, then suppose 10 photons incident, then 10 photoelectrons ejects. That 10 photoelectrons cannot reach directly this anode or this plate. Okay, here while the photoelectrons travel from this plate to this plate, meanwhile in between these two plates, as the space is filled with gas, that's why gaseous atoms are there. That's why these photoelectrons with kinetic energy, they travel with kinetic energy, So with that kinetic energy, whenever these photoelectrons travel towards the plate here, they interact or they collide the atoms in their path, gaseous atoms in their path. Then ionization takes place in the atoms. Due to that, some more electrons are produced. So these electrons, and because of ionization, some more electrons are produced. Those electrons, the total electrons reaches this anode or this collector. This is the collector. This is collector. This also called as the collector. As it emits the photoelectrons, it is called emitter. This is emitter. Now, is the number of electrons reaches the collector is same as the number of photons incident on the photometal or greater?
Greater, sir.
Greater. So that's why in this case, number of photons incident is not directly proportional to number of photoelectrons incident on the collector. That's why intensity is not directly proportional to the photoelectric current passing through them. So here intensity is not directly proportional to the right side symbol. Intensity not directly proportional to right atla
అయితే సార్
ఇట్లా క్రాస్ చేసేయచ్చా?
సార్
ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు రాయలేదండి, సరే డైరెక్ట్ క్రాస్. ఇన్ కేస్ ఆఫ్ gaseous bulb, intensity is not directly proportional to photoelectric current passing through them if it is filled with gas. Okay, this is photoemissive cell. Next, B. Next, one more thing, whenever the photons incident on the photometal or photosensitive material, immediately within no time, the photoelectrons are ejected. That means there is no time lag between the ejection of the photoelectrons and incidence of the photons on the photometal. That's why this photoelectric emission is an instantaneous process. The photoelectric effect is an instantaneous process. There is no time lag between the ejection of the photoelectrons and incidence of the photons. Next, B. Photoconductive cell. Photoconductive cell. In this photoconductive cell, here it is made with one semiconductor material. Here it consists of a plate made of semiconductor material. It is semiconductor material. So this cell is based on the fact that here, in case of this is the semiconductor material, it is made to form over the iron plate. Here, this is the iron plate. This is iron plate. This is iron plate. Iron plate. It is the semiconductor or semiconducting plate. Over the semiconducting plate, a thin silver or gold foil is formed. A thin silver or gold foil is formed over this. So here it is the silver or gold arm foil. Foil means very thin sheet, which is transparent to the light radiation. So here over the semiconductor material or semiconductor plate, a thin layer of silver or gold foil is formed. Already we know gold plated ornaments are there, no? Gold plated ornaments, 1 gram gold, that type of ornaments are there, no? Over the ornament made of copper, a thin layer of gold is made to form by using DC, direct current. Okay, so that is called electroplating. So by electroplating method, over the semiconductor material, a thin layer of silver or gold foil is formed. That's why here this acts as the conducting. This thin layer of the gold or silver layer foil acts as the conducting medium, and this is also iron plate. This is also conducting plate. Now this upper side and lower side of the semiconductor material are connected to, of course, semiconductor material is not directly connected. The upper surface is connected and the lower surface is also connected to the conductor. And here a resistance and resistance capillary is there. And here a battery is also connected. Like this, having certain EMF. Initially, as the semiconductor material offers more resistance in the circuit, the resistance between this silver foil and iron plate in between semiconductor material is there, no? It is having some resistance. So total resistance in the circuit is equal to R plus the resistance exists between silver foil and iron plate, which is the resistance offered by the semiconductor material. That is the total resistance in the circuit. Okay, now semiconductor material is having some certain property that whenever the light radiation incident on them, temperature of the semiconductor material increase. When temperature increases, resistance decreases, because whenever the light radiation incident on the semiconductor material, then covalent bonds will be broken in the semiconductor material and more number of electrons are available. When more number of electrons are available, then we can say conductivity increase. Conductivity increase means resistance will be decreased, no? Okay, resistance decreases. That's why here, when the radiation is made to incident on the surface, here as the upper surface of the semiconductor material is coated with thin foil of silver or iron, which allows the light radiation to pass through them, because it is not opaque. Silver foil or gold foil is not opaque. It allows the light radiation to pass through them. That's why these radiation passing through silver or gold foil and instant on the semiconductor material. Due to that, temperature of the semiconductor material increase, hence conductivity increase. When conductivity increase, then definitely resistance decrease, no? When the resistance decrease, then resistance in the circuit totally decrease. Due to that, there is a measurable current. There is a considerable current passing through the circuit. In this way, by making the radiation instant on the semiconductor material, by lowering the resistance, we can make the current passing through the circuit. Suppose if radiation is not instant, because of high resistance in the circuit, including the resistance offered by the semiconductor material, there is no considerable current passing through them. But whenever the radiation is made to instant on them, because of lowering of the resistance here, the net resistance in the circuit decreases. Due to that, a considerable current passing through the circuit. Okay, so this is the photoconductive cell. Here, the semiconductor material is made of selenium, lead sulfide, like that. Here, semiconducting plate means it is made of selenium. Okay, Next, lead sulfide. Etc. The semiconductor material is made of selenium or lead sulfide, etc. Upper surface is coated with a thin foil of silver or gold, and lower surface is attached to the iron plate. Okay, and here in between silver foil and iron plate, the silver foil and iron plate are connected to the cell and resistance. Initially, as the semiconductor metal offers more resistance, no considerable current passes. But whenever the radiation incident on them, due to that, temperature of the semiconductor metal increase and resistance decrease due to the considerable current passing through them. It is the working of the photoconductive cell. So it is the working of the photoconductive cell. Here, but there is a time lag. Here, it is not the instantaneous process. That's why this photoconductive cell is not frequently used. Okay, because whenever the radiation instant on them, immediately photocurrent will not pass as here. Because whenever the radiation instant on the semiconductor material, the semiconductor material has to get heated. After that, resistance decreases, then only current passes. That's why it takes some time. That's why there is a time lag between the passage of the photoelectric current and instant of the radiation. That's why this photoconductive cell is not frequently using nowadays. But this is one type of photoconductive cell. Next, see photovoltaic cell. Photovoltaic cell. Photovoltaic.
Sir, in photoconductive cell, as temperature increases, is there any damage to that circuit?
No. Here the radiation incident on the semiconductor material only, no.
Okay, sir.
Radiation
No.
incident on the semiconductor material.
Sir, as అంటే ఎక్కువసార్లు జరిగినప్పుడు డ్యామేజ్ అవుతుంది సార్ అది.
No, will not damage. It is having more melting point. How it melts? For the radiation, solar radiation, or for the light rays coming from the any bulb, it will not melt because it is having high melting point as it is a solid substance. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Next, photovoltaic cell. In photovoltaic cell, a photosensitive material is taken. Photosensitive material made of cuprous oxide. This is made of cuprous oxide. Cuprous oxide, Cu2O. This cuprous oxide plate is made to form over the copper plate. So this is the copper plate. This is copper plate. So this is the copper plate. Over the cuprous oxide layer, over the cuprous oxide plate, a thin layer of silver or gold foil is made to form, just as here. So this is the silver or gold foil is formed. Gold foil is made to form over the surface of the cuprous oxide layer. Okay, now here this silver or gold foil and copper plate both are in contact with the cuprous oxide layer or cuprous oxide plate. Now this silver foil and this copper plate, silver foil and copper plate both are connected to a resistance, some resistance. Of course, we can connect the milliammeter also here. Here no cell is there. Here in this circuit, no cell is there, you see. Here in this case or in this case, battery or cell is there, but here no cell is there. Okay, but whenever the radiation instant on the cuprous oxide plate, then EMF is developed there. Due to that, current passes. That's why it is called photovoltaic cell. Okay, now initially as no cell is there in the circuit, no current passing through the circuit. Now when the radiation having suitable frequency made to instant on the cuprous oxide layer, when the radiation instant on the silver foil, as silver foil allows the light rays instant on them, the instant on the cuprous oxide plate. When the instant on the cuprous oxide, as it is photosensitive, cuprous oxide is the photosensitive. This cuprous oxide is the photosensitive. That's why whenever the light radiation having suitable frequency instant on the cuprous oxide plate, which is the photosensitive, then it liberates the electrons. that electrons liberated by this plate reaches the surface of this silver foil. That's why surface of the silver foil acquires the negative charge, so that it acquires the negative potential. As this cuprous oxide layer loses the electron, as the cuprous oxide layer emits the photoelectrons as it reaches the surface of the silver foil, then at this place it acquires the positive potential because deficit of electrons are there at the other surface. Because this cuprous oxide behaves like an electrode. When light ray is incident on them, as the electrons are liberated, these electrons travel in this direction, so that this upper side of this cuprous oxide layer acts as the negative potential and the lower side acts as the positive potential. That means cuprous oxide plate acts as an electrode. On the electrode, whenever this light ray is incident on them, okay, because of ejection of the electrons, photoelectrons, they reaches the surface here, so that it acquires negative potential. As silver foil is in contact with the cuprous oxide plate here, the silver foil behaves like silver foil has negative potential and copper plate is having positive potential. That's why some EMF is developed here. As long as the radiation incident on this cuprous oxide plate, then some EMF is developed here. Some EMF is developed here. Due to that, some current passes. What is the direction of the current in the circuit? Is it in clockwise or anti-clockwise?
Clockwise.
Electrons it నుంచి flow it move అవుతున్నాయి. Electrons ఇటువైపు move అవుతున్నాయంటే దానికి
Anti-clockwise, sir. Anti-clockwise.
యాంటీ-క్లాక్వైజ్ డైరెక్షన్. సో యాంటీ-క్లాక్వైజ్ డైరెక్షన్ లో కరెంట్ ఫ్లో అవుతుంది. ఇక్కడ ఎటువంటి సెల్ లేకపోయినా కూడా across the cuprous oxide, as the EMF is developed, due to that, as the current passing through them, that is called photovoltaic cell. Photovoltaic cell. This type of cells are used in the spaceships also, because in the space journey, we cannot continuously produce the electrical energy with our sources. By using the solar energy, solar energy means it is continuous. There is no stop of the emission of the solar radiation. That's why with the solar energy only, continuously they can produce the electrical energy with the help of this arrangement. Okay, that's why in the space we can produce the electrical energy by using the photovoltaic cells. Okay, so these are the three different types of photoelectric cells. Note down. Now, what are the uses or applications of the photoelectric cell in various fields? And what are the uses of these photoelectric cells in various fields? Okay, shall I write this also? Yeah, solar plate, solar panels.
Yes, sir. You can.
You know, అయిపోయిందా?
Yes, sir. Finish.
Okay. Right. Now, applications of the photoelectric effect. Sorry, applications of photoelectric cells. Applications of photoelectric cells. Applications of photoelectric cells. First of all, photoelectric cells are used in solar panels to convert the solar energy into electrical energy. Okay, in solar panels, we use the photoelectric cells. Next one, to prevent the robbery, generally in banks, etc. To prevent the robbery, we use the burglar alarm. To prevent the robbery in the banks, okay, at the lockers they arrange the burglar alarm. Okay, here in the burglar alarm, they use the photoelectric cell. In burglar alarm, photoelectric cells are used. So how this photoelectric burglar alarm works? Here actually, in the burglar alarm circuit, alarm is calling bell, like that calling bell only. So here to the alarm circuit, a photoelectric cell is connected in series. Alarm circuit ki photoelectric cell ni connect చేస్తారు. Okay, whenever here it is kept just inside the locker. When you open the locker doors, locker ని మనం ఓపెన్ చేసినప్పుడు immediate గా here they arrange that the ultraviolet radiations are made to instant on the photoelectric cell. లాకర్ డోర్ ని ఓపెన్ చేయగానే దాని లోపల ఉన్న photoelectric cell మీద ultraviolet radiation instant గా అరేంజ్ చేస్తారు. Ultraviolet radiations are not visible. So the thief when opens the door, that definitely he feels that no light is there. But whenever the ultraviolet radiation instant on the photoelectric cell or photo cell connected in series circuit with the burglar alarm, then immediately the switch will be turned on, so that the burglar alarm produces the sound. It rings. Okay, in this way burglar alarm works. అంటే ఇక్కడ లాకర్ డోర్ ను ఓపెన్ చేయగానే దాంట్లో ఉన్న ఆ సర్క్యూట్ లో ఉన్న photoelectric cell మీద ultraviolet radiation instant అయినప్పుడు ultraviolet radiation అంటే these are more powerful than the visible radiation. Okay, definitely because of photoelectric effect, photoelectrons are liberated and circuit will be closed. Alarm circuit will be closed due to that the alarm rings, burglar alarm rings. They produces the sound. In such a way mechanism is there. Okay, so in that burglar alarm they use the photoelectric cell. Next, this photoelectric cell is used as the counting mission. Counting mission means in any big auditorium or cinema theater, etc., how many persons are there? How many persons entered into the hall? How many persons left from the hall? In order to count them without any person, with the help of this counting mission, we can count. How it works means, suppose when the auditorium door is open, because any person to enter into the auditorium definitely has to open the door. When he opens the door, definitely ultraviolet radiation instant on the photoelectric cell connected, and immediately the circuit will be closed and the bulb may glow. So in this way, suppose when the door is closed, again but the bulb will not illuminate. So in this way, how many times the bulb glows, that much time the door will be open. So that number of how many times the door is open, that much number of times that much number of people enter into the auditorium. In such a way we can count. So in counting mission also they use this concept. Photoelectric cells are used. Next, in order to control the temperature of the furnaces, because in furnace already in chemistry you are having different types of furnaces. In furnace, to maintain the temperature, to control the temperature without any manpower, we can use the photoelectric cell help. That's why photoelectric cells are used to control the temperature in the furnace. To control the temperature of furnaces. Okay, next, to switch off and on the street lights, to switch off or on the street lights, we use these photoelectric cells. To switch on or switch off means during daytime. Here, in case of street light circuit, a photoelectric cell is also arranged so that whenever the solar radiation instant on the photoelectric cell, then the relay will be displayed so that the street light circuit will be broken. When the radiation instant on the photoelectric cell in the circuit of the street lights, the circuit will be broken. In such a way mechanism is there. Okay, whenever night comes, during night, as no solar radiation is instant on them, whenever no solar radiation instant on the photoelectric cell, immediately street light circuit will be closed. In such a way, mechanism is there. That's why in such case, during daytime, as the light is instant on the photoelectric cell, the street light circuit will be broken. Then the street light will not illuminate. But during night, as no solar radiation instant on the photoelectric cell, then the street light circuit will be closed so that they will illuminates. They illuminates. That's why in this way, without manpower, we can control the street lights. We can switch off and switch on the street lights automatically. Okay, that is one more advantage. Next. To close or open the doors. To close or open the doors automatically without manpower. To close or open the doors, we use the already in big showrooms. When you go nearer to that door, immediately it will be opened or closed. Like when you pass away from that place, then it will be closed. No. So in such case also there is a, when you reaches the door, immediately interruption of the ultraviolet radiations takes place, which instant on the photoelectric cell. And అక్కడ ఎట్లా ఉంటుందంటే continuously ultraviolet radiation instant on the photoelectric cell. In such case, there is
Circuit
no
will be broken.
in that case, whenever ultraviolet radiations are continuously instant on the photoelectric cell, then it will not produce any power, so that the doors will not be open. But whenever interruption takes place to the instant of the ultraviolet radiation on the photoelectric cell, immediately circuit will be closed and door will be opened. In such a way, mechanism is there. So here, whenever the person starts entering, when person reaches nearer to the door, immediately ultraviolet radiations instant on the photoelectric cells are interrupted by our body. Due to that, the circuit will be closed to open the door. That's why door will be open. When you passed away from that place, then immediately there is no interruption of the ultraviolet radiation. That's why ultraviolet radiation instant on them, and immediately the doors will be closed. In such a way, mechanism is there. So to close or open the automatically the doors, this photoelectric cells are used. Similarly, to open or close the garage parking, కార్ పార్కింగ్ చేసే రూమ్ ఉంటుంది కదా, ఆ రూమ్ యొక్క డోర్ లేకపోతే మెష్ కానీ అది ఓపెన్ కావడానికి క్లోజ్ కావడానికి డైరెక్ట్ గా whenever the car reaches the place, when car reaches the place, immediately సేమ్ మెకానిజం, ఇక్కడ మెకానిజమే అక్కడ కూడా ఉంటుందండి. కార్ దగ్గరికి వచ్చినప్పుడు ఇమీడియట్ గా షట్టర్ పైకి రేజ్ అవటం, ఆ తర్వాత కార్ లోపలికి వెళ్ళిపోయిన తర్వాత మళ్ళీ షట్టర్ కిందకి ఫాలో అవటం, అట్లా ఆటోమేటిక్ గా అరేంజ్ చేస్తారు. అక్కడ కూడా అటువంటి వాటిలో కూడా ఇన్ ఆర్డర్ టు ఓపెన్ ఆర్ క్లోజ్ ద డోర్, ఆటోమేటికల్లీ వి యూజ్ ద photoelectric cells in that circuits. Next, in recording and reproduction of the sound in dubbing theaters, movies వాటిల్లో లేకపోతే షార్ట్ ఫిల్మ్స్ వాటిల్లో, అక్కడ అఫ్ కోర్స్ షార్ట్ ఫిల్మ్స్ వాటికి పెద్ద డబ్బింగ్ థియేటర్స్ అంత పెద్దగా యూజ్ చేయరు. మూవీస్ వాటిల్లో డబ్బింగ్ థియేటర్స్ ఉంటాయండి. ఆ డబ్బింగ్ థియేటర్స్ లో రికార్డింగ్ రీప్రొడక్షన్ అండ్ సౌండ్ రికార్డ్ చేయడం, మళ్ళీ వినటం, ఇవన్నీ ఉంటాయి కదా, రీప్రొడక్షన్ ఆఫ్ సౌండ్ అన్నీ ఉంటాయి కదా. ఆ రికార్డింగ్ రీప్రొడక్షన్ సిస్టమ్ లో ఈ ఫోటోఎలక్ట్రిక్ సెల్స్ ని ఎక్కువగా యూజ్ చేస్తారు ఇన్ రికార్డింగ్ అండ్ రీప్రొడక్షన్ ఆఫ్ సౌండ్. In recording and reproduction of sound. In recording and reproduction of the sound, here these photoelectric cells are used. In the space travel also. In the space travel, and space lo travel chesappudu, in the space travel, to convert solar energy into electrical energy. To convert solar energy into electrical energy, we use the photoelectric cells. Okay,
Sir, even in satellites they use, no sir?
enama
Satellites, sir.
yeah, satellites panels ఉంటాయి. ఆ panels solar panels అవి కూడా వర్క్ చేస్తూ ఉంటాయి. సో solar radiation తీసుకుంటాం. Next, to change the rate of reaction. అండ్ మీ కెమికల్ రియాక్షన్స్ లో రేట్ ఆఫ్ రియాక్షన్ అంటే కెమికల్ రియాక్షన్ ఫాస్ట్ గా జరగడం, స్లోగా జరగడం ఉంటుంది కదా. అంటే టు చేంజ్ ద రేట్ ఆఫ్ రియాక్షన్ ఆర్ టు కంట్రోల్ ద రేట్ ఆఫ్ కెమికల్ రియాక్షన్, టు కంట్రోల్ ద రేట్ ఆఫ్ కెమికల్ రియాక్షన్. we use the photoelectric cells. So these are the different uses of the photoelectric cells. Okay. Now, note changing.
Noted, sir.
సార్
Okay.
రీప్రొడక్షన్ సౌండ్ లో ఎలా ఉపయోగపడుతుంది సార్?
రికార్డింగ్ రీప్రొడక్షన్ లో యాక్చువల్ గా ఇంత ముందు డబ్బింగ్ థియేటర్ లో సౌండ్ ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేసినప్పుడు సౌండ్ ఎనర్జీ కన్వర్ట్ ఇంటూ ఎలక్ట్రికల్ ఎనర్జీ. ఓకేనా? ఆ ఎలక్ట్రికల్ ఎనర్జీని లైట్ ఎనర్జీగా కన్వర్ట్ చేసి ఎలక్ట్రికల్ ఎనర్జీని లైట్ ఎనర్జీగా కన్వర్ట్ చేసి ఆ ఇదివరకు ఫిల్మ్స్ ఉండేవి, సినిమా ఫిల్మ్స్ ఉంటాయి, ఐడియా ఉందా? ఆ సినిమా ఫిల్మ్స్ మీద రీల్ అంటాం కదా, ఇట్లా సినిమా ఫిల్మ్స్ ఉంటాయి, ఇట్లా డిఫరెంట్ షార్ట్స్ ఇక్కడ ఉంటాయి. దీని మీద ఈ సైడ్ ట్రాక్ మీద అబ్జర్వ్, ఇట్లా హోల్స్ లాగా ఉంటాయి కదా.
అవును సార్.
వాటి
ఒక మెషిన్ పెట్టి లైట్ పంపిస్తారు సార్ వాటి మీద.
వాటి పక్కన లైన్స్ లాగా ఉంటాయి, ఇట్లా డార్క్ కలర్ లైన్స్ ఉంటాయి. అవి సౌండ్ ట్రాక్ అంటాం, దాన్ని సౌండ్ ట్రాక్ అంటాం. ఆ సౌండ్ ట్రాక్ ని ఫార్మాట్ గా చేయడానికి అక్కడ రికార్డింగ్ రీప్రొడక్షన్ సిస్టమ్, రికార్డింగ్ అండ్ రీప్రొడక్షన్ ఆఫ్ ది సౌండ్ డబ్బింగ్ థియేటర్స్ లో అక్కడ ఈ ఫోటో ఎలక్ట్రిక్ సెల్స్ ని యూజ్ చేస్తారు. అంటే మనం సౌండ్ ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేసినప్పుడు అది లైట్ ఎనర్జీగా కన్వర్ట్ అయ్యి అకార్డింగ్ టు ద ఇంటెన్సిటీ ఆఫ్ ది సౌండ్ ఎనర్జీ, light energy is produced with the proportional to the intensity of the sound. Intensity of the light energy also changes. Light energy యొక్క intensity change అయినప్పుడు దీని మీద ఫామ్ అయ్యే లైన్ యొక్క ఇంటెన్సిటీ కూడా అకార్డింగ్ టు ద ఇంటెన్సిటీ ఆఫ్ ది లైట్ చేంజ్ అయ్యేట్టుగా అరేంజ్ చేస్తారు. అట్లా ఆ రికార్డింగ్ రీప్రొడక్షన్ ఆఫ్ ది సౌండ్ సిస్టమ్ లో దీన్ని యూజ్ చేస్తారు.
ఓకే సార్.
నీకు అది అకాస్టిక్స్ ఆఫ్ బిల్డింగ్స్ అటువంటి వాటికి అంటే నువ్వు ఆ ఇంజనీరింగ్ లో అకాస్టిక్స్ ఆఫ్ బిల్డింగ్స్ అటువంటి తీసుకుంటే దాంట్లో మీకు ఇవన్నీ కూడా వస్తాయి. ఇది రికార్డింగ్ రీప్రొడక్షన్ ఆఫ్ ది సౌండ్, ఇవన్నీ కూడా వాళ్ళని సౌండ్ ఇంజనీర్ అంటారు కదా, సౌండ్ ఇంజనీర్ అని వేస్తూ ఉంటారు మనకి మూవీస్ లో. వాళ్ళు ఈ డబ్బింగ్ థియేటర్ దగ్గర సౌండ్ ఎట్లా ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేయాలి, విత్ క్లారిటీ వితౌట్ నాయిస్ ఎట్లా రికార్డ్ చేయాలి, వాటన్నిటికీ కూడా ఈ ఫోటో ఎలక్ట్రిక్ సెల్స్ యూజ్ చేసిన డివైసెస్ వాళ్ళ దగ్గర ఉంటాయి. వాటి ద్వారా వాళ్ళు కంపోజ్ చేయటము, సౌండ్ ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేయటం అవన్నీ కూడా చేస్తారు. అకాస్టిక్స్ ఆఫ్ బిల్డింగ్స్ లో ఈకోస్ లేకుండా బిల్డింగ్స్ ఎట్లా కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ చేయాలి అనే దాని మీద దాని కూడా పెద్ద బ్రాంచ్ ఆఫ్ ఫిజిక్స్ అంటే అకాస్టిక్స్ ఆఫ్ బిల్డింగ్స్ అంటాం. పెద్ద పెద్ద థియేటర్స్ లో ఈకోస్ కాకుండా కన్స్ట్రక్షన్ ఎట్లా చేయాలి అవి నేర్పిస్తారు అక్కడ. ఓకే, నౌ డ్యూయల్ నేచర్ ఆఫ్ రేడియేషన్. Dual nature of radiation. We know there are properties of light like interference, diffraction, polarization. By which concept of light they could successfully explain the concepts of interference, diffraction, and polarization phenomena? By considering the wave nature of the light only, no? To explain the interference phenomena, diffraction phenomena, polarization phenomena, they thought that light travel in the form of waves. So by that concept only they could successfully explain the interference, diffraction, and polarization phenomena. Okay, that's why the light energy from the source when travel through any medium, when transmitting through any medium, it behaves like a wave. When light energy from the source, when light energy from the source travel or transmitting, when light energy from the source transmitting through any medium, transmitting through medium, comma, it behaves like a wave. మరి వేవ్ గా బిహేవ్ చేస్తుంటే దానికి వేవ్ నేచర్ ఉంటుంది కదా, క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ ఆఫ్ ది వేవ్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా. క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ ఆఫ్ ది వేవ్స్ అంటే ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ, వేవ్ లెంత్ ఇవన్నీ ఉంటాయి కదా. సో వాట్ ఈస్ ద ఎనర్జీ అసోసియేటెడ్ విత్ ద వేవ్? Already whenever the source of light emits the light energy in the form of waves, then the energy associated with the wave, is equal to h nu లేదా hf రాయొచ్చా? h nu లేదా వేవ్ కి రిలేట్, వేవ్ యొక్క క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్ ప్రాపర్టీ వేవ్ లెంత్ కూడా ఉంది కదా. ఇన్ టర్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ వేవ్ లెంత్ హౌ వి కెన్ రైట్ hc by lambda, no? Okay, therefore, so according because of wave nature of the light, energy associated with the wave is equal to h nu or hc by lambda. We can write this is one equation. Okay, next, whenever here the property here in order to explain the photoelectric effect and Compton effect, by means of wave nature, they could not explain how photoelectric effect takes place, how Compton effect takes place, because in order to eject the photoelectron from the atom of the photometal, definitely we have to hit the electron in the atom of the photometal by the material particle. Material particle means the particle having certain mass. Then only it is possible. Otherwise, the electron from the atom cannot escape from the atom of the photometal. But here, even the radiation instant on them, even the radiation coming from the source when instant on the electron in the atom of the photometal, electron comes out from the atom and they eject with certain kinetic energy. That means the photon behaves like a particle. That's why here, by means of wave nature, they could not explain the properties of the photoelectric effect and Compton effect. So Einstein, in order to explain the photoelectric effect phenomena, they have taken the help of the aid of the Max Planck's quantum theory of light. Max Planck's quantum theory of light. Okay, here according to Max Planck's quantum theory of light, whenever the source of light emits the light energy, that source emits the light energy in the form of small energy packets called quanta. The energy associated with each quantum is called a photon. So ultimately, every source of light emits the light energy in the form of small particles called photons. Small particles called photons. Those photons, when interact or when collide with the electrons in the atom of the photometal, the photon makes inelastic collision with the perfectly inelastic collision with the electron in the atom of the photometal, and they transfer their total energy to the electron, and due to that, the electron come out from the atom of the photometal. In this way, with the help of the Max Planck's quantum theory, Einstein could successfully explain the photoelectric phenomena. That's why he said that here the radiation coming from the source behaves like the particle when interact with the matter. And ఏదైనా ఒక matter తో interact అయ్యేటప్పుడు ఆ energy radiation coming from the source when interact with the matter, it behaves like a particle. When transmitting through the matter, it behaves like a wave. That's why the radiation coming from the source possess wave nature as well as particle nature. This peculiar behavior of this peculiar natures possessed by the light radiation is called the dual nature of radiation. Okay. According to Max Planck's quantum theory, here when the radiation interacts with the matter, when the radiation interacts with the matter, interacts means collide. When radiation interacts with the matter, it behaves like particle. It behaves like particles, in brackets photons. So suppose if the frequency of the photon is nu, if it behaves like a wave, then energy is this one. If it behaves like a particle, then energy associated with the photon is equal to mass of the photon into speed of the photon square. It is the Einstein's mass energy equivalence also no. So whenever the radiation interacts with the matter, as it behaves like a particle, then energy associated with the photon is equal to m into c square, where m is the mass of the photon when it is in motion with a speed c. Okay, so this is equal, that implies momentum of the photon, momentum or linear momentum of photon, comma small p is equal to m into c, which is equal to e by c, no? E by c. So this is another relation. This is another relation. Here, this is the energy of the photon in terms of frequency or wavelength. It is the energy of the photon in terms of speed of the photon. Okay, or momentum of the photon it is. Okay, now from this formula, momentum of the, when you combine these two natures, then momentum of the photon p is equal to e by c. We can write from this formula what is e by c. E is equal to hc by lambda. Then e by c is equal to
H by lambda.
H by lambda. That's why H by lambda. It is the momentum of the photon. Whenever photon behaves like a wave, the wavelength associated with the photon is lambda. Then momentum of the photon is what? Means H by lambda. If energy of the photon is E and speed of the photon is C, then what is the momentum of the photon? Means this one. If energy of the photon is E, speed C, then what is the wavelength of the wave associated with the photon? Means E by C is equal to H by lambda. In this way, they may ask in different ways. Okay, where lambda, wavelength of the wave associated with the photon. Associated with the photon. So in this way, when the wave transmitting, when the source energy transmitting through the medium, it behaves like a wave. When the energy interacts with the medium, it behaves like a particle called photon. That's why by particle nature, this is the momentum. By wave nature, this is the momentum of the photon. Okay. As the radiation coming from the source, light radiation coming from the source possesses wave nature as well as particle nature, then this particular nature is called the dual nature of radiation. Dual nature of radiation. Okay. So this is the dual nature of the photon or dual nature of radiation. Okay. Now, dual nature of matter. Dual nature of matter. Here the de Broglie scientist, de Broglie. The de Broglie scientist. Here it is the scientist name. The de Broglie scientist, when he observed the dual nature of radiation, that means it behaves like a wave and it behaves like a particle. That means it possesses the dual nature, dualistic nature. Okay, that's why here, as the photon behaves like a wave and photon behaves like a particle, this photon is called a vehicle. Vehicle అంటే wave nature, particle nature రెండు ఉన్నాయి దీనికి. కాబట్టి దాన్ని vehicle అని కూడా అంటారు. ఓకే, లేదా dual nature or dualistic nature అని కూడా అంటారు. So because of dualistic nature of the radiation, the de Broglie thought that base nature loves symmetry. By different here de Broglie hypothesizes that means without evidence, experimental evidence, he imagined something. That is called hypothesis. Without any experimental evidence, if you imagine anything, that is called hypothesis. Okay, so here de Broglie scientist, by considering following points: nature loves symmetry. Nature loves symmetry. Based on this concept, nature loves symmetry means if anything happens, we feel that the same thing will happen tomorrow also. Suppose if while the intermediate exams or objective exams goes on, in the first phase, suppose the paper was difficult, then we feel that in the next phase also the paper will be difficult. In such a way we feel. ఒకసారి పేపర్ డిఫికల్ట్ గా వచ్చిందంటే, ఇవాళ మార్నింగ్ పేపర్ డిఫికల్ట్ గా వచ్చింది అనుకోండి, అమ్మో మళ్ళీ ఈవినింగ్ కూడా మనకి డిఫికల్ట్ గా వస్తుందని టెన్షన్ వచ్చేస్తుంది. అవునా కాదా? అంటే మార్నింగ్ ఏదైనా ఒకటి జరిగిందంటే ఈవినింగ్ కూడా జరుగుతుందేమో అన్న ఫీలింగ్ ఉంటుంది మనకి. దాన్ని నేచర్ లవ్ సిమెట్రీ అంటాం. అంటే నేచర్ లవ్ సిమెట్రీ మీన్స్ ఇఫ్ ఎనీథింగ్ హ్యాపెన్స్ నౌ, the same thing may be happened in future also. In such a way, if we feel, then we can say in general nature loves symmetry. Okay, అంటే ఇక్కడ వేవ్ అనేది పార్టికల్ గా బిహేవ్ చేస్తుంది కాబట్టి పార్టికల్ అనేది వేవ్ లాగా కూడా బిహేవ్ చేస్తుంది. అదే కాన్సెప్ట్ ని బేస్ చేసుకుని, అంటే ఫోటాన్ వేవ్ లాగా బిహేవ్ చేస్తుంది, వేవ్ ఫోటాన్ లాగా బిహేవ్ చేస్తాం. సో ఆ కాన్సెప్ట్ ని బేస్ చేసుకుని నేచర్ లవ్ సిమెట్రీ, అంటే ఫోటాన్ వేవ్ లాగా, వేవ్ ఫోటాన్ లాగా బిహేవ్ చేస్తుందంటే పార్టికల్ వేవ్ లాగా, వేవ్ పార్టికల్ లాగా బిహేవ్ చేయొచ్చు కదా అని ఆ కాన్సెప్ట్ ని బేస్ చేసుకుని, అంటే నేచర్ లవ్ సిమెట్రీ, ఒకటి జరిగిందంటే ఇంకో దాని కూడా అట్లాగే జరుగుతుంది అనే కాన్సెప్ట్ ని బేస్ చేసుకుని, తర్వాత ద ఎంటైర్ యూనివర్స్, ద హోల్ యూనివర్స్ ఈజ్ ఫిల్డ్ విత్ ద మ్యాటర్ అండ్ రేడియేషన్. మ్యాటర్ అండ్ రేడియేషన్. The whole radiation is filled with the whole universe. The whole universe is filled with matter and radiation. Whole universe. Whole universe is filled with matter and radiation. Matter may be converted into radiation or radiation may be converted into matter. This totally, every building, every human body, every object in the universe is the matter. And the radiation coming from the sun, only the entire universe is filled with matter and radiation only. There is no other thing. That's why if the radiation may convert into matter, or matter may convert into radiation. Matter means particle. While interacting with any other medium, it behaves like a particle, or that particle may be converted into radiation. The particle behaves like a radiation also. Okay, that's why here by using this natural law of symmetry and by assuming matter and the entire universe is filled with matter and radiation. The entire universe is filled with matter and radiation. De Broglie hypothesized that. అంటే ఎవిడెన్స్ లేకుండా డీ బ్రాగ్లీ అనే సైంటిస్ట్ ఇమాజిన్ చేశాడు. అదేంటంటే ఎవ్రీ మెటీరియల్ పార్టికల్స్ ఆల్సో బిహేవ్ లైక్ ఎ వేవ్ ఎవ్రీ మెటీరియల్ పార్టికల్ అంటే లైక్ ఎలక్ట్రాన్, ప్రోటాన్, న్యూట్రాన్, అవి వేవ్ లాగా బిహేవ్ చేస్తాయని అతను ఫీల్ అయ్యాడు. ఇఫ్ ద రేడియేషన్ ఇస్ హ్యావింగ్ డ్యూయల్ నేచర్, థర్డ్ పాయింట్, ఇఫ్ ద రేడియేషన్ ఇస్ హ్యావింగ్ డ్యూయల్ నేచర్, దట్ మీన్స్ రేడియేషన్ బిహేవ్స్ లైక్ ఎ particle behaves like a radiation behaves like a photon behaves like a radiation and a wave. So as radiation behaves like a matter, as the radiation has dual nature, then as radiation has dual nature, రేడియేషన్ అనేది డ్యూయల్ నేచర్ ఎగ్జిబిట్ చేస్తాం. It was proved also practically. As the radiation is having dual nature, that means it behaves, the photon behaves like a wave behaves like a photon. అంటే particle గా behave చేస్తాం, wave గా behave చేస్తాం. As the radiation is having dual nature, the de Broglie hypothesized that the matter is also having dual nature. Matter means particles, material particles having certain masses. Matter also possess dual nature. Matter also possess the dual nature. That means the material particle also behaves like a wave also behaves like a material particle. In such a way, de Broglie hypothesized. So based on these concepts, de Broglie suggests that every material particle also behaves like a wave, that every material particle behaves like a wave, and that wave behaves like a particle. That's why the matter also possesses the dualistic nature as the radiation. That is the de Broglie hypothesis. De Broglie hypothesis. That means without experimental evidence, he said that the material matter also behaves like a wave. Okay, that's why this is called dual nature of matter. This is called dual nature of matter. Dual nature of matter. Dual nature of matter. As the material particle behaves like a wave, then the wavelength associated with the material particle is called the de Broglie wavelength. And the waves associated with the material particle are called de Broglie waves or matter waves. The wavelength of the wave అంటే ఇక్కడ మెటీరియల్ పార్టికల్ కూడా వేవ్ నేచర్ ని ఎగ్జిబిట్ చేస్తుంది అని చెప్పి de Broglie హైపోథెసైజ్ చేశాడు. కాబట్టి the wave associated with the material particle is called the wavelength associated with the material particle is called de Broglie wave or matter wave, and the wavelength of the wave associated with the particle is called the de Broglie wavelength. The wavelength of the wave associated with the particle is called de Broglie wavelength. And the wave is called de Broglie wave or matter wave. De Broglie wave or matter wave. De Broglie wave or matter wave. No doubt. Okay, now based on this formula, de Broglie wavelength. Suppose in case of a material particle, kinetic energy, comma, K is equal to, we can write half m into v square, or we can write p square by 2m. Half m into v square or p square by 2m we can write now. Therefore, de Broglie wavelength associated with the particle. De Broglie wavelength, comma, lambda is equal to, according to this formula, how we can write lambda? Lambda is equal to h by p, we can write now. Lambda is equal to h by p. Lambda is equal to h by p. De Broglie wavelength associated with the material particle. De Broglie wavelength associated with the material particle, lambda is equal to, we can write h by momentum p or h by mv. Suppose if you are given the mass of the material particle and velocity of the material particle, then de Broglie wavelength associated with the material particle is equal to h by mv, we can write. If you are given momentum, h by p. If you are given kinetic energy, then h by p means, from this formula, p means root 2m into k. No, k is the kinetic energy. This is the formula for de Broglie wavelength associated with the particle. Okay, next. Suppose if you are given kinetic energy of the particle is not given, mass of the particle is given, but kinetic energy is not given. Suppose if particle is accelerated through a potential difference of capital V, a particle having charge q is accelerated through a potential difference of capital V, then what is the work done on the particle? If a particle of charge q is accelerated through a potential difference of capital V, then what is the work done on the particle by the potential difference? Tell me.
Sir, once again repeat, sir.
If the charged particle having charge q is accelerated through a potential difference of capital V, then what is the work done on the particle?
Yes, sir.
P into Q.
VQ.
So here, if a particle of charge q, okay, I don't want to write totally. Okay, if the particle is accelerated through a potential difference of capital V, then work done on the charged particle is equal to V into Q. According to work energy theorem, it is equal to gain in kinetic energy, no? That means half m into v square minus 0. Initial velocity is 0. Whenever it is accelerated through a potential difference of v, then kinetic energy acquired is equal to vq only. That's why this is equal to, instead of kinetic energy, we can write vq, no? Because k is the kinetic energy. This is equal to k. That's why instead of kinetic energy, we can write vq also. So square root of 2m into vq, where v, potential difference through which charged particle, charge q, is accelerated. It is the potential difference through which charged particle is accelerated. Okay, this is one more formula. Suppose if the particle is not having any charge like neutron, how it possesses the kinetic energy? How the neutron possesses the kinetic energy? Tell me. Suppose there is a neutron gas. In the gas, totally neutrons are there. How they gain the kinetic energy? Because of temperature only, no?
Collision.
Neutron means, okay, because of collision, heat energy is generated, and at that heat energy, that is converted into kinetic energy, so that particle acquires the kinetic energy, or kinetic energy converted into heat energy. Okay, the neutron possesses the kinetic energy because of its temperature. Because of temperature of the gas, the neutron or atom possesses the kinetic energy. So because of temperature, if the atom gains the kinetic energy, in case of monatomic gas, what is the formula for kinetic? What is the formula for kinetic energy? In case of monatomic gas, at a temperature capital T, what is the kinetic energy associated with the particle? Particle means it is the monatomic particle, monatomic atom, monatomic gas. What is the kinetic energy of the gaseous atom at a temperature capital T? 3/2 kT, no? F/2 kT, general formula. F/2 kT.
Yes, sir.
In terms of degrees of freedom. Okay. So in case of monoatomic gas, degrees of freedom is 3. That's why 3/2 kT. And ఇక్కడ న్యూట్రాన్ కూడా అది ఇండివిజువల్ పార్టికలే కాబట్టి మోనోటామిక్ గ్యాస్ గా మనం ట్రీట్ చేస్తే ద ఎనర్జీ అసోసియేటెడ్ విత్ ద పార్టికల్ at a temperature capital T is equal to at a temperature capital T, comma, kinetic energy associated with particle, comma, K is equal to 3/2. Sorry, here you write KE. That is equal to, okay, K, because we have written here now K. That is equal to 3/2 kBT, K suffix B, T. Kb is the Boltzmann constant, you know. Kb is the Boltzmann constant. Now we substitute the kinetic energy of the particle at a temperature capital T. You substitute here instead of kinetic energy K. Then what you will get? 3/2 kT, 2 to cancel. 3m kBT, no? This is equal to square root of 3m kb t na, idena intega. So these are the various formulas for de Broglie wavelength associated with the material particle. This is the de Broglie wavelength associated with the material particle. Here we cannot observe the de Broglie wavelength associated with the particles having more masses. Suppose if you take the particle, a body having mass 1 case, when you find the de Broglie wavelength of that de Broglie wavelength associated with that body, suppose you take a body having mass 1 kg moving certain velocity 10 meters per second like that, you find the de Broglie wavelength. Then de Broglie wavelength is in the order of some 10 to the power of minus 15 meter like that. Something into 10 to the power of minus 15 like this. That means that is very, 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 very small. That wavelength cannot be observed. That wavelength cannot be diffracted. ఎందుకంటే రేడియేషన్ ఏదైనా వేవ్ ఏదైనా డైఫ్రాక్ట్ కావాలంటే ఇట్ మస్ట్ బి హ్యావింగ్ సమ్వాట్ మోర్ వేవ్ లెంత్, దెన్ ఓన్లీ ఇట్ విల్ బి డైఫ్రాక్టెడ్. కానీ ఈ 1 kg మాస్క్ ఏదైనా ఒక బాడీతో అసోసియేట్ ఉండే వేవ్ లెంత్ కనుక ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేస్తే వెరీ 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 స్మాల్ ఉంటుంది. దట్స్ వై దట్ కెనాట్ బి డైఫ్రాక్టెడ్ మోర్. When it cannot be diffracted, that cannot be identified. That's why in case of heavier bodies we cannot observe the de Broglie hypothesis, this dual nature of the radiation, dual nature of matter. In case of the particles like elementary particles like protons, neutrons, లేకపోతే alpha particles కానీ electrons కానీ అటువంటి వాటికి మనం de Broglie waves ని అబ్జర్వ్ చేయొచ్చు. అయితే ప్రాక్టికల్లీ డేవిసన్ జర్మన్ సైంటిస్టులు ప్రాక్టికల్లీ దే ప్రూవ్ ద ఎగ్జిస్టెన్స్ ఆఫ్ ది de Broglie waves associated with the electrons. అంటే ఇక్కడ డేవిసన్ జర్మన్ అనే సైంటిస్ట్ ప్రాక్టికల్ గా ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ మోషన్ ఉన్నప్పుడు దాంతో వేవ్ అసోసియేట్ అయింది అని ప్రాక్టికల్ గా అబ్జర్వ్ చేశారు. ఎందుకంటే డైఫ్రాక్ట్ అవుతున్నాయి, ఆ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ డైఫ్రాక్ట్ అవుతాయని అబ్జర్వ్ చేశారు. అంటే దాంట్లో de Broglie వేవ్స్ అసోసియేట్ అయినట్లే కదా. అట్లా ప్రాక్టికల్ గా de Broglie ఇది డ్యూయల్ నేచర్ ఆఫ్ ది మ్యాటర్ వాళ్ళు ప్రాక్టికల్ గా అబ్జర్వ్ చేశారు. సో బికాస్ ఆఫ్ దేర్ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంటల్ రిజల్ట్స్ performed by Davison and Germer, as it was proved, this de Broglie scientist was awarded with the Nobel Prize because of this dual nature of the matter. Okay, here these all formulas are useful to do the problems related to de Broglie wavelength. Okay, మన మెటీరియల్ లో de Broglie wavelength రిలేటెడ్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఏదో 1 or 2 అవి కూడా లేవనుకుంటండి. అయితే మీకు అసైన్మెంట్ ఆల్రెడీ ఐ కెప్ట్ ఇన్ ద గ్రూప్. మీకు క్లాస్ గూగుల్ క్లాస్ రూమ్ లో ఆల్రెడీ ఐ ఫార్వర్డెడ్ అండ్ ఐ కెప్ట్ ఇన్ ద వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్ ఆల్సో. మీకు అసైన్మెంట్ పెట్టాను సింగేజ్ న్యూ ప్యాటర్న్ దాంట్లో మీకు కొన్ని ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఆల్రెడీ హోంవర్క్ ఇస్తున్నాను. ఆ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ లో మీకు de Broglie wavelength, de Broglie dual nature of the matter కాన్సెప్ట్ మీద ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఉన్నాయి. అంటే de Broglie wavelength కంపారిజన్ అవి ఉన్నాయి, అవి చేయండి. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు దీంట్లో కొన్ని నోట్ పాయింట్స్ అండి. ఈ ఫార్ములా వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ అండి. ఓకే, de Broglie wavelength associated with the de Broglie wavelength associated with the electron. De Broglie wavelength for electron. for electron. For electron lambda రాసినట్టు de Broglie wavelength గా. For electron పెట్టి lambda ఫార్ములా రాసినట్టు de Broglie wavelength కదా. So for electron de Broglie wavelength associated with electron is equal to electron అంటే charged particle. When electron is accelerated through a potential difference of capital V, then de Broglie wavelength associated with the electron is equal to h by root 2m into v into e రాయొచ్చు కదా. Charge of the electron e కాబట్టి, since q is equal to e. అయితే దీంట్లో lambda is equal to h by, ఇక్కడ ఇట్లా రాయండి, h by root 2me you keep in the numerator and by root v you keep in the denominator. In the numerator h is constant, m is constant, e is constant, no? అవునా? ఈ h Planck's constant 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 34. Mass of the electron 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kg కదా. Charge of the electron అంటే 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb. ఆ వాల్యూ సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేయండి. v వాల్యూ వాడు ఎంతో ఇస్తాడో అది కూడా సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేయండి, సింప్లిఫై చేయండి. అప్పుడు వచ్చే ఆన్సర్ దేంట్లో ఉంటుందండి? ఇన్ మీటర్ కదా. ఆల్ టోటల్ డేటా is substituted in SI system. That's why you get in meter. In meter. దాన్ని యాంగ్స్టమ్స్ లో కన్వర్ట్ చేయాలి. యాంగ్స్టమ్స్ లో కన్వర్ట్ చేయాలంటే h by root 2me by root v. ఇది మీటర్స్ లో ఉంది కదా, ఇంటూ 10 to the power of 10 రాయండి. అప్పుడు యాంగ్స్టమ్స్ లో కన్వర్ట్ అవుతుంది. You substitute entire data in SI system. This also in SI system. And you multiply with the 10 to the power of 10 because 1 angstrom is equal to 10 to the power of minus 10 meter. 1 meter is equal to 10 to the power of 10 angstroms, no? That's why you multiply this meter with 10 to the power of 10, then that use in angstrom. అయితే ఇక్కడ ఈ h by root 2me into 10 to the power of 10 ఉంది కదా, దాన్ని ఆ వాల్యూ సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేసి h వాల్యూ, m వాల్యూ, e వాల్యూ into 10 to the power of 10 వీటన్నిటిని సింప్లిఫై చేసేయండి. సింప్లిఫై చేస్తే మీకు వచ్చే వాల్యూ అప్రాక్సిమేట్ గా 12. ఆ వాల్యూ ఎంత వస్తుందంటే 12.24 అనుకుంటా, 12.27, అప్రాక్సిమేట్ గా 12.27 వస్తుందండి. బై అయితే ఇక్కడ v వాల్యూ మనం సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేయొద్దా? త్రూ వాట్ పొటెన్షియల్ డిఫరెన్స్ the electron is accelerated, that is not mentioned. That's why I kept v like this only and I substituted the data here into 10 to the power of 10. When I simplified, then we will get this one 12.27 by root v. That much angstroms. This can also be written as, you write this 12.27 also inside the root. Sometimes inside the root when you write this 12.27 there is a easy calculation. Then in such case you will get 12.27 when you write inside the root, then that becomes 12.27 square. If you simplify them, approximately you will get 150 by v. This is the formula for de Broglie wavelength associated with the electron when it is accelerated through a potential difference of v. Sometimes you will be given the electron is accelerated through a potential difference of excuse me 150 volt. Then what is the de Broglie wavelength associated with the electron? Tell me.
1 angstrom.
1 angstrom. When the electron is accelerated through a potential difference of 300 volt, what is the de Broglie wavelength associated with the electron? 1 by
root 2 angstrom.
1 by root 2 or root 2 by 2 or 0.707. No? In such a way we can do, if you know this formula like this. Okay, that's why you better to remember like this one. It is the de Broglie wavelength associated with the electron when it is accelerated through a potential difference of v. Similarly, for proton, same proton అనేసరికి సేమ్ ఫార్ములా అండి. Planck's constant సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేయండి, మాస్ ఆఫ్ ది ప్రోటాన్, చార్జ్ ఆఫ్ ది ప్రోటాన్ అంటే అది కూడా సేమేగా 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 కదా. సింప్లిఫై చేయండి. ఆఫ్టర్ సింప్లిఫికేషన్ వాట్ యు విల్ గెట్ ఇస్ ఫర్ ప్రోటాన్ 0. de Broglie wavelength associated with the proton is equal to 0.286 by root v. ప్రోటాన్ అంటే అది కూడా చార్జ్డ్ పార్టికల్ కదా. ప్రోటాన్ అంటే that is also the charged particle. That's why de Broglie wavelength associated with the proton is equal to 0.286 by root v. That much angstroms. ఇక్కడ v must be in potential volts. v volts లో ఉండాలి ఇక్కడ. ఓకే, అంటే v SI system లో ఉండాలి. నెక్స్ట్, shall I erase this part?
So 1 minute sir.
So 0.286 square చేస్తే నియర్లీ ఎంత ఉంటుంది సార్?
విన్నానా?
0.286 స్క్వేర్ 0.286 ఉంది కదా సార్.
అవునా, మా రూట్ లోపల తీసుకెళ్తే 0.286 స్క్వేర్ అంటే దాదాపు
అదే.
0.09 ఆ రేంజ్ లో 0.08 సంథింగ్ అట్లా వస్తుంది అనుకుంటా.
ఓకే సార్.
ఓకే, ఇది అరేంజ్ చేయొచ్చా ఈ పార్ట్ లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్?
ఎస్ సార్.
సార్ 0.0817 వస్తుంది సార్.
అదే ఓకే, అట్లా అవసరం లేదు, ఇట్లా గుర్తుపెట్టేసుకోండి. ఇదంటే సింపుల్ గా ఇట్లా వస్తుంది కాబట్టి రాసింది, రాదు అట్లా. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ థర్డ్ వన్. ఫర్ ఆల్ఫా పార్టికల్ de Broglie wavelength associated with the alpha particle. ఆల్ఫా పార్టికల్ అంటే ఛార్జ్ ఎంత అండి? 4 యూనిట్స్ పాజిటివ్ ఛార్జ్ కదా, ప్లస్ 4e. e అంటే 1.6 into 10⁻⁻19. మాస్ ఆఫ్ ది ఆల్ఫా పార్టికల్ అంటే 4 AMU కదా. 1 AMU is equal to how many kg? 1.6 into 10⁻⁻27. 1 AMU.
10⁻27 kgs.
Yeah, -27 kg. ఓకే, సో ఇక్కడ ఈ ఆల్ఫా పార్టికల్ యొక్క మాస్ అంటే 4 into 1.6 into 10⁻⁻27. ఇక్కడ ఛార్జ్ అంటే 4 into 1.6 into 10⁻⁻19 కూలుంబ్. ఆ వాల్యూస్ ఇక్కడ సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేయండి. m సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేయండి, మాస్ ఆఫ్ ది ఆల్ఫా పార్టికల్, ఛార్జ్ ఆఫ్ ది ఆల్ఫా పార్టికల్, ప్లాంక్స్ కాన్స్టెంట్ ఇంటూ 10⁻10 సింప్లిఫై చేయండి. ఈ v అట్లాగే ఉంచండి. ఓకే, అంటే బిట్వీన్ త్రూ which potential difference it is accelerated, that is not mentioned. If it is mentioned we can substitute. ఓకే, ఈ మిగిలిన పార్ట్ ని సింప్లిఫై చేస్తే మీకు వచ్చే వాల్యూ ఇన్ కేస్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ఫా పార్టికల్ 0.101 by root v angstroms. It is for alpha particle. It is for alpha particle. Next, for neutron. De Broglie wavelength associated with the neutron. Neutron charge ledandi. Neutron is the neutral particle. It has no charge. That's why based on the temperature only it acquires some kinetic energy. Due to that it is having de Broglie wavelength. That's why in terms of temperature we have to write. Okay, this is equal to, already we are having general formula in terms of temperature. H by 3m kT we got no 3m kBT. H is the Planck's, H is the lambda n is equal to H by root 3m kb into T. Here H is the Planck's constant, m is the mass of the neutron, kb is the Boltzmann constant. You substitute and simplify them except T. Then if you simplify them, then you will get lambda n is equal to 30.79 or 31 by root T. That much angstroms. This is the formula for de Broglie wavelength associated with the neutron. De Broglie wavelength associated with the neutron. Okay, here de Broglie wavelength, this dual nature of radiation, a dual nature of matter was experimentally observed or studied by Davison-Zermer experiment. Dual nature of matter, dual nature of matter was experimentally observed. Dual nature of matter means in case of electron they observed. In case of electron was experimentally observed by Davison and Zermer scientists. Davison and Zermer. We are having experiment also. Tomorrow I will explain the experiment. Zermer, Davison and Zermer experiment. Next, in photoelectric effect, what is the collision takes place between the photon and electron? What is the type of collision takes place between the photon and electron? Yes, now I said. In photoelectric effect, what is the type of collision takes place between the photon and electron?
Inelastic collision.
Inelastic collision. Okay, inelastic collision. Next here, suppose we are given one example. I will explain here. One example. One example I will explain. Note down. Shall I erase this part? Right side.
Yes.
అయిపోయిందండి జస్ట్ ఇంకొక 5 minutes. Already I shared the homework problems to you. I kept in the group, so you do those problems. In new pattern, Cengage new pattern also problems are given. That Cengage new pattern PDF also shared to you. If you are having okay, otherwise through PDF you can do. Okay, now example, one example. I will explain one example. Yeah. Here, electron and proton possess the same de Broglie wavelength. Electron and proton having same de Broglie wavelength. Electron, here proton is there. The de Broglie wavelength associated with the electron is lambda e, proton is lambda p. Here it is given that lambda e is equal to lambda p. The de Broglie wavelength associated with the electron and proton both are equal. So lambda e is equal to lambda p, that is given. If E and EP are the energies of electron and proton, energies of electron and proton are, energies of electron and proton are EE and EP. Say energies of electron and proton are EP, EE and EP, while V and C are their respective velocities. Velocities of electron and proton are V and C. Okay, then what is the ratio between E and EP? Then E-EP ratio is what? That is the question they asked. Answer is given in terms of V and C only. Answer is given in terms of V and C. Okay. How we can do? We know energy of the electron. Energy of the electron ante h by p ne kada. Sorry, p square by 2 we can write now. First of all, what is the de Broglie wavelength associated with the electron? Tell me. Lambda e is equal to h by momentum of the electron. We can write now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, de Broglie wavelength of proton is equal to h by momentum of the photon. Momentum of the photon ante ikkada etla raddam. Energy of the photon is equal to mc square. That implies momentum of the photon pp is equal to energy of the photon by c, right? Ende momentum of the photon is energy of the photon is equal to pp by c, right? But momentum of the photon ante h by wavelength associated with the photon, right? Momentum of the photon is equal to ep by c, right? Ikkada m into c ante momentum of the photon kada, c ikkada rasayandi. Appudu momentum of the photon is equal to ep by c. That momentum of the photon is equal to h by lambda kuda right kada, because de Broglie wavelength is equal to h by p kada. Appudu p is equal to h by lambda raskochu kada. So de Broglie wavelength of the wave associated with the photon is equal to h by lambda p. దీని నుంచి ep is equal to, therefore ep is equal to రాయొచ్చు hc by lambda p ana. This is equation 1. Similarly, in terms of de Broglie wavelength associated with the electron, what is the energy? We have to write. That implies momentum of the electron is equal to h by lambda e. Momentum of the electron is equal to h by lambda suffix e. Lambda suffix e. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ ఇన్ టర్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ వెలాసిటీ రాయాలండి. ఇన్ టర్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ వెలాసిటీ మరి దీని నుంచి పిఈ మూమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ది ఎలక్ట్రాన్ వచ్చిందండి. ఎనర్జీ ఆఫ్ ది ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ఎట్లా రాయొచ్చు? ఎనర్జీ ఆఫ్ ది ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ఇస్ ఈక్వల్ టు కైనెటిక్ ఎనర్జీ ఆఫ్ ది ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ఇస్ ఈక్వల్ టు h by
hc by lambda c.
దాన్ని ఎట్లా రాయొచ్చు మనం? lambda a lambda p both are equal. p square by p square by 2 electron కదా 2 me. p square by 2 me is the energy associated with the electron. ఇది momentum of the electron. Momentum of the electron. ఇప్పుడు E by EP రాయాలి. E by EP. చెప్పం.
E by EP equal to 1 వస్తుంది కదా సార్?
ఏంటమ్మా?
E by EP equal to 1 వస్తుంది.
E by EP ఎట్లా వస్తుంది?
E అంటే hc by lambda E కదా సార్?
ప్రాబ్లం లో kinetic energy of the electron is equal to half into mass of the electron into velocity square. Here m into v can be written as momentum of the electron into one more v is there, v by 2. That is equal to momentum of the electron means already we know momentum of the electron in terms of wavelength, de Broglie wavelength is equal to, you see, momentum of the electron is equal to h by lambda e. That's why h by lambda e instead of momentum of the electron h by lambda e into v by 2. Okay, therefore kinetic energy of the electron is equal to this one. Kinetic energy of the photon is equal to hc by lambda p. Then what is the ratio between kinetic energy of the electron to photon? That is equal to EE. Kinetic energy of the electron is equal to hv by lambda into 2 into by EP. Kinetic energy of the photon means hc by lambda p. But according to the problem, lambda e lambda p both are equal, so cancel them. H cancel, then v by 2c. Therefore ratio between the kinetic energy of the electron to energy of the photon is equal to v by 2c. Next,
sir.
ah,
Sir, kinetic energy of electron దగ్గర mc square ఎందుకు తీసుకోలేదు సార్?
velocity of the electron is equal to v kada.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Next, in example 2, on the photometal, the radiation having suitable frequency instant on them. Then work function of the photometal is W. Then this eject the photoelectrons. The mass of the photoelectron ejected is say me. Maximum kinetic energy with which photoelectron ejected is k max. V max, maximum speed is V max. Maximum momentum is P max. Okay, then what is the de Broglie wavelength associated with the photoelectron ejected here? As we know, de Broglie wavelength is equal to h by momentum of the photoelectron here. That is equal to h by momentum of the photoelectron ejected is the P max. That's why P max. So we have to find the P max value from Einstein's photoelectric equation. The energy of the instant photon h nu is equal to work function plus kinetic and maximum kinetic energy of the photoelectron ejected. That maximum kinetic energy of the photoelectron ejected can be written as P max square by 2m, you know. So from this, hf minus w is equal to P max square by 2me, or P max square is equal to 2me into hf minus w, or P max is equal to under roots. Okay, now so here, therefore de Broglie wavelength associated with the photoelectron is equal to h by P max. That is equal to h by P max means this one, roots 2me into hf minus w, where me mass of photoelectron. Mass of photoelectron. Of course, not only photoelectron, any electron is having same mass. 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 31 no? Mass of photoelectron. This is the formula for de Broglie wavelength associated with the photoelectron ejected from the photometal. Note down. Itla kuda adagachu.
డన్ సార్.
ఓకేనా? సమ్ టైమ్స్ ఇది ఎట్లా ఒకసారి బోర్ ఆర్బిట్ లో ఏదైనా ఒక ఆర్బిట్ లో ఎలక్ట్రాన్ రెవల్యూషన్ చేసినప్పుడు ద స్పీడ్ ఆఫ్ ది ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ఇన్ ద nth ఆర్బిట్ ఆఫ్ ది హైడ్రోజన్ ఆటం కనుక్కోవచ్చు కదా ఏంటి? లాస్ట్ పాయింట్ అండి. ఒక ఆర్బిట్ లో ఎలక్ట్రాన్ రెవల్యూషన్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు ఇది న్యూక్లియస్, ఇది న్యూక్లియస్ చార్జ్ Ze అనుకోండి. Z is the atomic number, E is the charge of the proton. Okay, therefore Ze is the total charge of the nucleus. ఒక ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ఇది ఏదో ఆర్బిట్ లో సమ్ అండ్ సో ఆన్, ఇది nth ఆర్బిట్ అనుకున్నాం. nth ఆర్బిట్ ఎలక్ట్రాన్ రెవల్యూషన్ చేసినప్పుడు దాని యొక్క స్పీడ్ Vn, మాస్ ఆఫ్ ది ఎలక్ట్రాన్ Me, స్పీడ్ Vn అనుకున్నాం. స్పీడ్ ఆఫ్ ది ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ఇన్ ద nth ఆర్బిట్ ఆఫ్ ది హైడ్రోజన్ ఆటమ్ ఆర్ ఎనీ హైడ్రోజన్ లైక్ ఆటమ్ ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేసుక మనం. మీకు ఆ బోర్ ఆటమ్ మోడల్ అవన్నీ వస్తాయి, తర్వాత నెక్స్ట్ వీక్ లో వస్తే అప్పుడు డిస్కస్ చేద్దాం. సో if you know the speed of the electron in the hydrogen atom or hydrogen like atom, then the de Broglie wavelength associated with this electron in this orbit, lambda n, de Broglie wavelength of this electron, lambda d అనుకోండి, that lambda n, de Broglie wavelength of electron in nth orbit, comma lambda n is equal to h by mass of the electron into speed of the electron in that orbit. H by p kada, de Broglie wavelength ante formula h by momentum of the electron in that orbit, that is equal to h by mass of the electron. Here this is electron, mass of the electron Me, the Me అనేది రాయదండి, ఒకసారి చార్జ్ ఆఫ్ ది ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ఇది కూడా వస్తాయి, m అని రాసేస్తాం. మాస్ ఆఫ్ ది ఎలక్ట్రాన్, వేర్ mass of electron into speed of the electron in that orbit, what is the formula for speed of the electron in that orbit? Of course ఆ ఫార్ములా డిరైవ్ చేస్తామండి. ఇప్పుడు జస్ట్ ఇక్కడ ఏదో రాస్తున్నా కానీ మీరు ఏమి చూడాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. ఈ పాయింట్ మీకు ఈ ప్రాబ్లం ఏమి ఇవ్వడు కాబట్టి de Broglie wavelength రాదు, అందుకనే ఇక్కడే డిస్కస్ చేస్తున్నాం. what is the formula for speed of the electron in nth orbit? Anybody else? మీ కెమిస్ట్రీ లో వచ్చేసింది అటామిక్ స్ట్రక్చర్ లో. ఓకే, సో దిస్ ఇస్ ద ఫార్ములా వేర్ స్పీడ్ ఆఫ్ ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ఇన్ nth ఆర్బిట్, Vn is equal to speed of the electron in the nth orbit of the hydrogen atom. Vn is equal to C by 137 into Z by M meter per second. C and ఇక్కడ C అంటే స్పీడ్ ఆఫ్ ది లైట్ అండి, C స్పీడ్ ఆఫ్ లైట్. Z అటామిక్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ది ఆటమ్, N అటామిక్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ది ఆటమ్, Z అండి అటామిక్ నెంబర్. ఓకే, N ఆర్బిట్ నెంబర్, ఇంకా దీంతో సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేస్తే ఆన్సర్ వస్తుంది, Vn వస్తుంది కదా. మాస్ ఆఫ్ ది ఎలక్ట్రాన్ తెలుసు, ప్లాంక్స్ కాన్స్టెంట్ తెలుసు, దెన్ వీ కెన్ ఫైండ్ ద de Broglie wavelength. ఇది ఓకే. దీని నుంచి యాంగులర్ స్పీడ్ ఇచ్చినా కూడా ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయొచ్చు. యాంగులర్ స్పీడ్ ఇస్తే వాట్ ఇస్ ద de Broglie wavelength అంటే V is equal to r omega కదా, omega is given, r will be given, then Vn can be calculated, then you substitute here. In this way we can find the de Broglie wavelength associated with the orbiting electron. Okay, so now with this topic de Broglie hypothesis complete, de Broglie dual nature of the matter was completed. ఓకే, ఎక్స్పెరిమెంటల్ డిటర్మినేషన్ అవన్నీ కూడా నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్ లో డిస్కస్ చేద్దాం. దాంతో ఈ వీకెండ్ సిలబస్ అయిపోతుంది.
అన్సర్టనిటీ ప్రిన్సిపల్స్
అది కూడా రేపు వచ్చేస్తుంది, రేపటితో కంప్లీట్. ఓకే, సో ఇప్పుడు దీనికి రిలేటెడ్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్, కొన్ని ఫోటో ఎలక్ట్రిక్ ఎఫెక్ట్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఇన్ అవర్ మెటీరియల్ అండ్ ఇన్ సింగేజ్ న్యూ ప్యాటర్న్ బుక్. మీకు ఆల్రెడీ సింగేజ్ న్యూ ప్యాటర్న్ పీడిఎఫ్ మీరు షేర్ చేసి ఆల్రెడీ గూగుల్ క్లాస్ రూమ్ లో ఉంది, తర్వాత మీకు వాట్సాప్ లో కూడా షేర్ చేశారు చూడండి. దాంట్లో ఏ నెంబర్స్ చేయాలనేది కూడా మీకు షేర్ చేశారు. మనం ఐకాన్ మెటీరియల్ సింగేజ్ న్యూ ప్యాటర్న్ మెటీరియల్ ఏ ప్రాబ్లమ్ చేయాలని చెప్పా. యూ డోంట్ దిస్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు డూ ఇన్ ఏ సింగిల్ డే, యూ డోంట్ ఫీల్ లైక్ దట్. టుమారో ఆల్సో యూ కెన్ షేర్ సమ్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ అండ్ టుమారో ఆల్సో యూ కెన్ డూ. ఓకే, దాంట్లో ఇచ్చిన ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ అని ఇవాళే కంప్లీట్ అవ్వాలని లేదు, రేపు కూడా ఉంది, రేపు కంప్లీట్ చేసుకోండి. మీకు ఆల్రెడీ న్యూ ప్యాటర్న్ లో విత్ సొల్యూషన్స్ ఇచ్చారు. ఈవెన్ దెన్ ఇఫ్ యూ ఆర్ అనేబుల్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్, యూ కీప్ ఇన్ వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్, దెన్ ఐ విల్ రెస్పాండ్ ఫర్ దెమ్. ఓకేనా? ఓకే, నౌ స్టార్ట్ డూయింగ్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్. ఓకేనా?
సార్ అక్కడ మనకి వెలాసిటీ సార్ అది